why you chose Georgia.
Across all options that obviously we researched, Georgia was the best option.
Last year alone, more than 100,000 people moved to Georgia.
The clients are coming from all over the world.
It's very safe, cost of living is good.
Yeah.
We have mountains, we have sea, we have 4 seasons, and people are very nice.
Is it even real?
So that's why we decided to come to Sakartvelo.
We will talk about very interesting thing about digital nomads and expats going to Georgia.
That's like the challenge for them to believe that it's actually possible to do it as well.
I love it. It should be a slogan of the country.
You can use it. I officially offer you the trademark here for what I said.
I'm Valerian Gegidze. This is Entrepreneur's Diary presented by Solo Premium Banking. That was my part.
Yeah. Okay, I did it for you.
Yeah, thank you for helping. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Valerian Gegidze, entrepreneur and investor from Georgia. This is Entrepreneur's Diary presented by Solo Premium Banking. Today, I'll be your host, and we will talk about very interesting thing about digital nomads and expats going to Georgia. Today, our topic is about my favorite thing, my homeland, Georgia, which is between Europe and Asia across beautiful mountains of Caucasus. The country is famous for its great cuisine, great nature, 4 seasons. We have amazing tax regimes which attracts a lot of people, 1% and 5% tax, and it grabs attention of the best minds across the world. Last year alone, more than 100,000 people moved to Georgia. Great experts, nomads doing digital business and various other jobs. And we also did our part in this relocation. As you know, Gegidze Group helps international companies to relocate to Georgia and helps them to incorporate and run business here legally and compliantly. Today, I want to present 2 of our clients, Denis and Alexandra, who have moved from Romania to Georgia. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to see you and good to be here.
Welcome to Georgia. Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking time. So tell us about yourself. What brought you to Georgia and how you ended up here?
So long story short, we've been a couple for a few years. We run our own business, which I assume we're going to get into in just a second here.
Okay.
We made the decision to move to Georgia quite fast. You know, like
Okay.
this summer, literally a few months ago. We realized that we need a place that favors our model of business and our lifestyle.
Yeah.
And across all options that obviously we researched, Georgia was the best option.
Okay.
Both in terms of the tax regime that you mentioned and also being close to home. Because Romania is still part of this kind of Eastern European, you know, slash the same culture. So that's why we decided to come to Sakartvelo or Georgia.
So let's start from the very beginning. How you found out about the Georgia? Are you looking for special tax regimes, or are you looking like cool places to live, or good food, or what was that?
Yeah, so basically, I had the idea that we should maybe relocate after we've been doing some traveling the last couple of years, and we realized that the world is so big, and I had this idea, like, if we do everything online and our business is remote, why wouldn't we choose the best possible place to live? It's just like optimizing your life. Then Alexandra is a very big ChatGPT user, so she did a lot of research with ChatGPT in terms of like best countries, best regimes, like best places to accommodate. Yeah. And we came across Georgia. I knew something about Georgia from the past years, just from what I was hearing, like around my circles and everything, but I never really deeply looked into it. And I think I even saw some of your guys' ads, so they're doing a great job.
What was the list of the countries you were choosing from? I believe it's UAE, probably some European countries, Cyprus, Georgia?
We weren't really looking at Cyprus and Estonia in these places because they are better than Romania in terms of taxes, but they're not that, they're not the most optimal, I think it was Georgia, UAE, and then
I think we also looked maybe into Hong Kong, if I'm not wrong.
Opening a company there and living in Thailand, basically. But it was a bit more complicated, and
we did do a lot of thinking, but ultimately I think it comes down to what is the best and where you would actually like to live as well.
Exactly. This year alone, we relocated out more than 100 people to Georgia.
That's nice.
And, when you talk to them, they're always comparing Cyprus, Georgia, and UAE, and some other options like, Singapore or Hong Kong. And there's definitely favorable tax regimes. But while comparing, there are like 2 topics. Is quality of living and the culture, which is very important because, like UAE is a great place. I love to go there on a vacation. But like for a person like me who's used to 4 seasons and going skiing and, enjoying different stuff, Georgia is more favorable for me. And also the costs of incorporation and cost of living. So let's say monthly cost of living would be above 10K, and in Georgia it would be like at least 5 times less.
Yeah.
It's the same quality of life.
Definitely,
so what was in your case then, why you chose Georgia? What was the main trigger?
Yeah, good question. So first things first, from my perspective, it was just the easiest move for us, both financially
Right.
and also like logistically, because Romania is far, it's like on the other side of the Black Sea, but we still had an opportunity to come by car, you know. And one more important thing, which I think a lot of your potential clients or like people you work with would be interested to hear, is that you also have to look at the bigger picture, because yes, UAE is great, it's 0%, but the cost of living there and relocating and spending your days there, it's eventually going to be like offsetting the savings you make through tax, you know. Of course, it depends on the level of business you're at as well. But for us, it just made more sense to come to Georgia, pay 1%, and cost of living is pretty much very similar to Romania. I would say it's even a bit cheaper.
I think it's also you need to kind of think of the type of person that you are and what you like to do and what you enjoy doing. For example, for me, like something that I really, really enjoyed doing since we lived in Transylvania, right, in the mountains, I really liked to go on walks. I really like to go on hikes, you know. It's something simple, but it's something that, you know, is recreational and you need it when you work a lot. You know, the UAE was not the place for that. And you can't really do much except for spend money, you know. I really like the people here. Like, they're very warm, they're very welcoming. The food, it is similar to what we have, but you know, it's nice. It's not just the fact that it's similar to what we have.
I hope I say it right. It's what our grandmas used to cook as comfort food. You know, like chicken in the garlic sauce and with bread. Yeah, so it's pretty similar.
Okay, and what's your favorite food in Georgia?
I haven't tried that many, but what was it called?
Khachapuri?
No. Kinkali, I think.
You know, the best, right? Obviously.
Yeah. Definitely that. I mean, so far, like I said, haven't tried very many, but definitely looking forward to it since you guys have a lot of restaurants.
Yeah, like food is per capita, and like restaurants per capita is probably the most in the eastern part of the Europe.
And it's very affordable as well.
Maybe once you decide, you can also get a cool apartment here. So
yeah, I think that's what's smart about Georgia. You know, like they have these rules that are welcoming towards people like us.
Yeah.
And of course, like in 5 years from now, if I stack some money, if I save some money, right?
Yeah.
Where am I going to spend it to invest? You know, like am I going to buy real estate back home in Romania where people are going to like tax me as much as they can, or am I going to do it in a country that supports the move and that actually like seems like a reasonable offer, you know? So I think that's smart. You know, it's like playing the long-term game. You don't expect much from people up front, but then you know that the positive effects are going to come afterwards. That's how I see it.
Absolutely.
With
I really appreciate you saying that, because I think what's beautiful about this country, it's super easy to do the business. I don't know if you're aware, but Georgia is ranking number 7 for ease of doing business across the world.
Yeah.
And how long are you already here?
We've been here for a week.
For a week.
So yeah, it's not that bad, but just goes to say that we already opened the bank accounts here.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is so smooth.
Exactly.
And you don't need to like go through this hustle of like going to a million different places at once and doing a million things. It really is easy.
How was the process for you as the client, end to end? So how long it take? What did you have to do to incorporate in Georgia? And then what is your expectations? How much you're going to be saving during the year?
Yeah, so basically the process was initially we wanted to do it remote before we came here.
Right.
But because of some complications with Romanian notaries and postal things, you know, like to send documents, we decided we're just going to wait. So we started the process literally when we got here. Right. And your team member Saba has been helping, and Nika, they've been helping us and being super helpful. And the experience is just really nice. I mean, it doesn't feel like bureaucracy. Yep. It feels more like hanging out with a friend. You know, like I don't know if he told you, obviously maybe not, but we've been getting coffee every day with Saba and like chatting about the culture, and it's just been like a very pleasant experience, and nobody seems to have any problem with us. You know, like they're not like, hey, why are you coming into my country? You know, everyone's chill, everyone's just doing their job, and I think like your public service hall is very efficient. You know, like in Romania at least we don't have that system. You just have to wait for 5 people to be in the right mood to get something. You know. Like,
yeah, unfortunately that is the thing. You know, that's very well. Fortunately for you guys, it's very different here, but in some other countries, some people just don't want to help you at all. But it's not the case here. Like I was saying, everybody's very welcoming and they make the process so easy, and it takes half an hour and you do everything.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when you're raised in the service like this, you expect to get the service everywhere like the same, right? And I've been living in Germany for the last 7 years, and when I first got into the government stuff and wanted to get one document about the residency, oh my God, that was the worst. It took me like 2 months. So like here, getting everything in one place.
I think that's one thing. That you were asking about expectations.
Yeah.
When we first came, I was kind of bugged about the fact that we couldn't do it remotely because of the issues from the Romanian side.
Right.
I thought like, oh my goodness, it's gonna take ages, and we're gonna have to be there for hours. And then when we went just for the first time, and when I saw it was done in like 20 minutes for 2 people, I was like, okay, so this is like quick. It's not that type of staying there and wandering for 2 hours.
Your type of work is getting into the special tax regime, which is taxed by 1% only on your total revenue. So it works really well for expats, digital nomads, anyone who is in digital industry, right? So doing graphic design, sales, whatever is related to tech. And your guys focusing on outbound, right?
Yeah, we basically we are the co-founders of freelanceclients.com.
Right.
We basically do outbound marketing for freelancers because we all know freelancers hate marketing themselves. They just want to do the work and that's it. So we kind of solve that problem for them. And yeah, it is perfect, because we work with clients from the US and the UK and sometimes Europe, but not that often. Just being able to do it remote, combine that with the fact that it falls in line with Georgia's rules around getting the 1% tax regime. Like I think that was the sweet spot, And even if you have to open a company here, I think you said it's like 5%, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So I think it's still reasonable. Like most of the European Union, we pay like between 30 to 50% in taxes.
How much was the tax in Romania for the stuff that you were doing?
Yeah. So in Romania, it's like the taxes are
complicated.
Yeah, it's first of all, like that's what I hate. It's not very streamlined in terms of hey, you have to pay this and that's it.
Right.
So we have VAT for 19%, which sometimes we have to pay, sometimes we don't. It's not like in Georgia where you only pay if they're local clients.
Right.
Am I right? You don't pay it if you work with international clients, right? The VAT.
Yes, that's true. Well, there's also double tax treaty agreements with some countries, so it makes it more flexible.
Yeah, we have the same ones in Romania, but it depends on whether you're charging an individual or a company, you know? Then after that, you have like the 16% tax on profit,
right?
But it's not in the same way as you guys. I think you guys just pay the tax on profit when you withdraw money from the company. Is that right?
That's true.
Yeah. In Romania, you pay it every 3 months.
Yeah.
So if you just have 100K that you made in the last 3 months and you didn't use it for business purposes, boom, 16K just goes away,
Okay, that's painful.
Yeah, and then on top of that, there's also dividends. So we have right now, currently, like in the last few years, Romania has been crazy. It gone from like 5% dividends to 10%, and starting with January, it's going to be 16%.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to get 1,000 euros out of the company, right, to pay rent.
Yeah.
And you have to pay 160 euros just for that transaction alone.
You have to pay for nothing. Even if you breathe, you have to pay. You have to pay all the time. It's not.
I feel the pain. I know how tough it is and how complicated it is, and that's why in other countries you need like agencies to run your books, right? And Georgia is very easy and very straightforward. So you have like few taxes. If you cash out money, you pay income tax, and there's pension contributions if you pay out your salary. But in your case, you're just paying 1% tax on your total revenue, and that's it.
It's actually like you look forward to paying it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's like, is it even real?
So it's not just that Georgia has a very good cost of living, but it's not only affordable because of that. It's also affordable because of how much goes in your pocket, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I think that like taxes is a right thing for the life, right? And it's kind of you are paying for a specific place to live a comfortable life. And in today's world, in global competition, countries are like companies, and it's kind of looking for a talent. And whoever has the better offer gets the best talent in the world. And Georgia is a small country with just 3.5 million people, locals. And everywhere we get like millions of tourists. And like, as I mentioned, last year alone, more than 100,000 great minds relocated to Georgia, people like you. And I'm really genuinely happy because it means you're getting the best of the whole world, right?
It is. It is because it's close to home and it supports us. Like again, like in terms of Romania as a country, zero complaints against it. It's very safe. cost of living is good.
Yeah.
We have mountains, we have sea, we have four seasons. As you said, it's like very livable as a place, and people are very nice as well. Like we share the hospitality that you guys have as well.
Agree.
But because of the people that are running the country, it's just not serving us and as entrepreneurs.
I think especially like when you're trying to grow the business and at the end of the day you're doing this for yourself, right? You're not growing the business to just grow the business. I think you just need to think of what is the next logical step that I can take. I can stay here, I love the country, but it doesn't serve me. Or I can just take a small leap of faith and go to a country that's still amazing, possibly actually even better, and get all of that extra for myself, which at the end of the day I did work for. So,
Absolutely agree. And there are other perks and benefits that Georgia offers besides the great taxation. I think the infrastructure is set up in a way that you have it like a plug and play for all the setups. I would love to hear your experience for the digital banking that we offered from our partners, Solo Premium Banking. So this was the service that we introduced to you for running your own books and your personal banking.
So the thing is, because we've just been here a week, we haven't obviously used the service as much as probably some of your other clients, but the processes of opening the accounts and doing everything so far has been pretty smooth. The app looks just the infrastructure looks good. That's what I'm going to say. Like if I compare it to the Romanian banks that I've been using, we have good banking apps and we have good infrastructure as well, but this is better. That's just what I'm going to say,
Honestly, if you could just describe it in one word, it's just simple.
Simple.
It was a simple setup.
And when you have to deal with a company, personal life, sales, marketing, being the guru and all that stuff, you don't want to deal with the bureaucracy anymore.
Exactly.
And that's why we love this, because it's basically our whole business, freelanceclients.com, is about delegating prospecting for freelancers. Georgia is delegating the bureaucracy for us as entrepreneurs.
That's true.
So it's kind of applying our own principles to the game.
I love it. It should be a slogan of the country, delegating work to...
You can use it. I officially offer you the trademark here for what I said.
Agreed. So what do you think overall, how long you'll be staying in Georgia, and what's your next step? What's your goal?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So I think, honestly, we're going to be here for at least, I would say, the next 5 years. 6 years. And just because it's comfortable, it's nice, it's safe, it's definitely, honestly, not what I was expecting as much, but it really is something where I think we can stay the long term and feel comfortable. But I mean, it's the place that we can grow.
And we're going to be here for obviously the minimum we want to be here is 6 months. Because I know it depends on the country. Some people can do it remotely, but people from Romania, the Romanian tax authorities are not going to allow you to have a business in another country and still be a tax resident in Romania without being taxed there as well. So we have to move our tax residency here, which is what we're doing now. And that's pretty much the plan. Stay 6 months here, 6 months of traveling and seeing the world. Because again,
probably within the first year, it's going to be a little bit less of that traveling, but.
Yeah, because we still have a lot of places to see within Georgia, a lot of regions,
definitely.
a lot of cities.
And have great mountains as well.
Oh my God, mountains is what we have a lot. And depending what you want to see, depending on the season, we can recommend the best places. You know that Georgia has the highest populated place in Eastern Europe, which is about 2,000 meters.
Užguli, right?
That's not only Užguli, there's smaller places, but Užguli is the most famous one. And till today, you have hundreds of towers, old towers, who are there for centuries, and people still live there. It's mind-blowing. I cannot describe what is the scenery when you have the mountain, which is 5,000 meters above sea level, and it's in your garden.
Yes, I mean, this is what I was saying earlier, because you get to have these things, right? Whereas in other countries, you don't really get to
and
have that.
Even Batumi was nice, because we drove there by car, and the traffic was a bit too much for us based on our expectations as Romanians. But in terms of the city itself, I can genuinely say I felt in some kind of Miami of Eastern Europe.
Yeah, definitely.
It was nice cars, nice restaurants, the sea, a lot of good buildings. It's not our style for living because we like Tbilisi style, capital city, and we want a super walkable place. But genuinely, I think if you want to relocate to Georgia, if you're watching this and you're thinking about doing it, be open-minded. Look at more cities. Visit. I think it's Kutaisi as well, right?
Right.
The smaller city.
Yeah.
Because I think all places are beautiful here. That's what I'm trying to say.
As Georgian, I want to say thank you for those kind words. It really warms my heart because as a true Georgian, I love my country. Everybody here loves their country, and I think everybody is happy to hear your experience. And I hope many people will follow your words and will, at least give a visit to this place.
What do you have to lose? I mean, even if you try it out for a year, at least if it does, let's say it doesn't work for you, right? You at least now have the peace of mind that you eliminated one option that is not going to work for you.
Yeah.
So you're still making progress, right? So you can at least give it a shot and see how it goes. Best case scenario, you found a new home, like a home base for you as a digital nomad. You pay a good amount of tax. You're surrounded by good people, and you're living in a good country. Like that's how I see it myself.
Oh, that was my part.
Yeah. Okay, I did it for you.
Yeah, thank you for helping.
We didn't script this before, just saying.
That was wonderful. Denis Alexandra, thank you very much for your time. It was pure pleasure. Thanks for being part of this great journey and going to Georgia. I hope your stay will be nice and exciting. And if you need anything, we're here to help. After very insightful meeting with Alexandra and Denis, let's meet the team who actually makes it happen. Here we have Mariam and Nika, part of Gegidze team, who help international companies and individuals relocate to Georgia and explore the benefits of the taxes and other stuff in our homeland. Hi guys, how is it going?
Doing great.
So let's present yourselves, who you are, what you do in the company, and how you ended up here.
First of all, I'm Nika, Business Development Manager at Gegidze. I'm super glad that we joined our forces to be here to help the company grow and reach their challenges and help to take over the different markets.
I'm Mariam. I'm the account executive here. I haven't been here for long, but I was able to dive into Gegidze's values, and I'm so happy that I'm able to bring that value to the clients because I'm one of the first people that actually meet our clients. So yes, happy to be here with you guys.
Well, I would say that I'm blessed to have a team like you guys, and I think our clients are lucky to have supporters like you. And actually, those guys are very humble because every single month they are meeting more than few hundred people and helps them to relocate their business, to optimize their taxes, and obviously make life better, as you did with Denis and Alexandra. So, guys, can you tell me how you structure your work and what is exactly that you do?
The work is quite scheduled, to be honest. We usually have meetings scheduled basically for a whole week because we see that there's a quite huge demand coming from different markets that we reach. So usually the meetings are going quite good and it's quite standard.
Sure. Yeah, I know that there have been a lot of requests, like getting maybe 400 or 500 requests per month, and it's very hard to meet everyone. And you made a great job to actually invite people. So what was the game-changing moment in order to increase the conversions and attract more people?
Yeah, the biggest game changer, what we see that when we receive that amount of, I would say, demand from different markets that we enter, there are quite a lot of requests, and sometimes people have to schedule maybe 2 or 3 weeks up front. So what we did is that, and sometimes they miss the emails, and what we did for the high conversion was to basically contact them straight away in a couple of minutes, maybe in a couple of hours. That made the huge difference in the conversion rate and made those leads much more happier because they take the solution as soon as possible, and that's what they want, right? That they want an instant solution for them waiting. So yeah, that was I would say, game changer for the conversion.
That's absolutely brilliant. I really admire how you take care of our clients, because the most important is building a trust. An immediate reply and connecting, it actually builds it up quite fast.
Yeah.
Mariam, can you tell us what is the kind of the problems that clients are facing and how you help them to solve those problems?
First of all, I will continue the flow because the topic that they are discussing with us specifically is very sensitive, right? Obviously, it's very professional. It's about their business. It's about their finances. But at the same time, it's very sensitive. So it's obviously for us to create this comfort for them to talk about it really and let us help them really to structure everything on their end. The challenges that they have obviously is a really huge tax that they pay, and the clients that I've been talking to, they are sharing their stories of what they do for a living and how they're managing their business. And from my experience, as you mentioned, we are talking to at least 500 people in a month. So, so yes, I've heard a lot. Okay, so they put so much hard work, and just understand that at the end of the day, everything goes to a tax. Obviously, it's a necessary thing to do. It's the law and it's the regulation, but to basically help them to understand that it can be easier. It's something that we do from our end, and that's like the challenge for them to believe that it's actually possible to do it as well. Because I've heard a lot of times it's too good to be true.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I've
right.
heard that
And
as
so,
well.
like, yes, I've heard that a lot, but what can you do? That's how we are in Georgia. So.
Absolutely. I think that we do have really great regimes, and people are just surprised to find out that they can pay only 1% as an individual entrepreneurs or as a company 5%. And obviously, speaking about the taxes, it's very cautious, right? Because people trying to, find the proper ways, to, let's say, avoid tax payment, not to break the rules, but to make it properly. And our goal and your main task is to basically provide them with all possible options with compliant solution, right? So I do believe it's quite emotional, and you need to, gather a lot of secrets, which is also important for building a trust. So thank you for what you are doing for all of our clients. Speaking of the clients, where do you see the most demand from the whole world? Because I know that majority of the campaigns which are currently running is in Europe and also in South America. So maybe you can share where our clients come from.
Yeah, I mean, from the Europe, it's quite high demand. I would say it's balanced, but currently what we've seen so far is that Romania is one of the biggest demand what we see. Also, the Spain is also quite huge. The Portugal, obviously, the France as well, the Netherlands. The clients are coming from all over the world, and as you mentioned, it's also South America, which is getting more and more interesting for them to discover this opportunity. Some of them, they don't even know about where is Georgia, or if it's a country, because they always connected to the North America, Georgia. So yeah, Brazil is quite famous as well, and Uruguay, and all of those type of things. And we're trying to get as fast as possible to as many markets.
Would you say the clients, majority of them, they are interested because they're exposed to like digital nomad life or the expat life, or there's some other triggers?
Well, yes, digital nomads are quite popular community, I would say, that we talk. Also, people who are just exploring the idea of digital nomad, because the world is basically become remote through everything, and people, even though it's been here on the market for such a long time, people just now realize that, oh, actually, yes, I can be anywhere in the world, and I can still work and do my job. So we personally, who I'm working with is people who are digital nomads, who are exploring the idea of digital nomads, and people who have no idea that there's a possibility of digital nomads. So yes, that's what we have so far.
Let's say I'm a client, and so I'm somewhere from Europe, and I run an e-commerce company or an agency. So can you run me through the whole process, how long it takes, how much it costs, and like what should I expect? So like from the very beginning.
Sure. From the moment that we receive the request from you, obviously the best way to go is to schedule a call, right? To understand your background, understand what you're looking for, and what structure you're looking for. That's the most important part, because this is where the planning and the pricing and the solutions come forward. So yes, first thing first, I would understand which structure you actually qualify for. Once we're done, obviously there are a couple of options. Obviously for the individuals, as you mentioned, the solo entrepreneurship that we have in Georgia for 1% tax rate, and the company. And we have a lot of options for the companies as well, for the tax optimization purposes. And once we are agreed, because obviously we have to consult that with you, whether or not you like the ideas that we have for you. And after that, we start the process. And to be honest, honest, after the meeting, once we have yes from your end, it's basically our side. We do everything from our end. We just request a couple of documents, obviously, in order for us to proceed, and after that our team basically does the registration and the bank account. Well, depends on the request how everything is done, but I would say around 2 to 3 weeks is completely enough for you to have the entity that would be the best fitted for you in Georgia.
To sum it up, let's say I choose an individual entrepreneur, like small business status, and for this I'm qualified to pay only 1% up to how much?
160,000 euros per year, which is $500,000 lari, Georgian lari.
Okay, yeah, I think that majority of the people who are in the industry, I think they're earning the same amount.
That,
yeah, 160,000 is pretty nice number, I guess. So once I decide to move forward, then you send me a power of attorney, which I notarize in my local registry, right?
Yep.
And then I send out you documents. And once you have the documents, how long does it take actually to register me?
Again, there's no bureaucracy in Georgia. Therefore, the business registration can be done in 1 or 2 business days.
Okay.
Right? And the bank account takes around a week or maybe 2, depending on how long it takes for them to grab the KYC document, right? Like additional. But the business registration is done in 1 business or 2 business days.
That's the beauty, right? That's the beauty of this tax regime. And the most important part for these freelancers and for these clients are how easily it can be done in just 2 to 3 weeks, basically, as Mariam mentioned, and how simple and straightforward it is.
Gotcha. And basically, I don't need to come to Georgia, right? I can stay where I am to register the company. And then how it works after I'm registered, so I can invoice my clients through a Georgian company?
Yes, absolutely. And the Georgian banks are perfect for business activities because they provide all kinds of services. Plus, you can obviously receive any payments from any countries in Georgian bank. And what you will need, obviously, is a compliance, and we also do provide that service.
Okay. So after I'm registered, how does it work after that? How I invoice the clients? What is the services that you provide? Do you help me with bookkeeping, accounting, all the boring stuff?
Yes, definitely. All the boring stuff is taken care of from our end. You will definitely need the compliance, obviously, because you're an entity and you have to declare your income monthly. So we do have that service, a subscription maintenance service, I would say. And yes, you can easily invoice your clients with your Georgian entity, receive your payments in a Georgian bank. Georgian banks are perfect for business activities, so there's no bureaucracy. Everything is 24/7 available. So, yes.
Nika, what other stuff you provide on a monthly basis for the clients like me?
I would say the requirement is when the client is registered remotely, they have to have an address leasing. That is one of the most important parts. That's what we also do. We do the bookkeeping and all the small accounting things that it's needed to maintain their account. And the one thing is that laws are always changing. This is quite sensitive subject. So we have to make sure that client is compliant and also stays compliant as the time grows. And that's probably the most important part for the clients, to have the trust that they are in good hands with us and they don't have to worry about anything, basically because they have a dedicated client success who is take care of basically everything for them. So
okay, that's wonderful. Yeah, I think it's outstanding. And so how much is the total price for incorporating and for running the books on a monthly basis?
Yeah, for the one-time setup that we provide, that includes also the opening a bank account, registering as an individual entrepreneur, and also obtaining a small business status, it costs €995.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the maintenance, we just ask for €45, which is
per month.
Yeah, per month, and it's super surprising for those people because they don't have to worry about anything, pay only 1% tax, and you're taking only €45. Sometimes they got shocked because of that. So
I think that's fascinating. I mean, I'm part of this company, obviously, and I know the price. But honestly, like if you compare it with any other pricing across the world, let's say it was Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong, Cyprus, guys, only incorporation will cost you, if you're lucky, 10K in UAE, and if you're lucky, and if everything goes smoothly, and then on a monthly basis, man, it will be 3-4 times more, and then you need to go there and stay for a lot of time. Then you need to take a residency and other stuff. You need to get part of those services here in Georgia as well, but it will cost you in total more than €2,000 a year. Come on, and you are saving like at least 10-15% compared to any other regimes. So I think it's a no-brainer to come to Georgia to taste Georgian wine, our great cuisine, enjoy the mountains. If you like skiing, you can go to Godauri. If you like wine, you can go to Kakheti or to beautiful Batumi, or enjoy other stuff in Tbilisi and have also a party together with us.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure.
Likewise,
having us.
definitely, likewise.
Ladies and gents, thank you for watching Entrepreneur's Diary, presented by Solo Premium Banking. I'm Valerian Gegidze and I was your host today. Subscribe to this channel in order to learn more about benefits and perks that Georgia offers. Thank you for watching.